Hi everyone, welcome to Coder and Boots. Today we are going to discuss the topic on how to resize the disk of an EC2 instance. So this is a very cool feature provided by Amazon. So this feature was not available in Amazon during the initial stages. So if you see like few years back, there was no direct option to resize the EC2 EBS, and during that time what we used to do was we used to take the snapshot of the disk and reprovision a new disk with a larger size, and it was kind of a very long process, and it needs downtime because we need to reattach the disk, and it takes several hours. So right now with this cool feature, so we can resize the EBS very quickly without any downtime to the system. We don't even need to restart the system, so we can do this without a restart of or without a downtime of the currently running system. So what we will do is let's go to the console. So here I have already provisioned an EC2 instance. So this is the instance, and if you go to the storage, you can see a storage over there which has 8 GB size. Okay, and let's check the status of the disk first, because before doing any of this operation, please ensure the volume is in a healthy status. So the volume status in use, okay, and it shows a tick mark, green tick mark. And volume state, right now this is just provision, that's why it is showing insufficient data, but it will basically come healthy. Okay, so right now, as this instance is like a freshly provisioned instance, it may take some time to basically get a green tick here. So the ideal value is okay, so with a green tick. Okay, so this is what we have. So we are going directly to modify that. So click select on the volume, okay, and then modify the volume. There is an option modify volume here. So right now AWS provides the options to modify the type, volume type. Volume type is SSD, GP2, GP3, magnetic, provisioned IOPS. So there are various options. So we can modify the volume type, then size, IOPS, and throughput. So here in this video we are going to modify the size. So from 8 we are going to modify it to 10 GB. Okay, so I'm going to modify it to 10 GB. And one more thing is, this AWS allows only one change in every 6 hours. Okay, so let's say if you are trying to modify multiple things, very frequently they won't allow. So please make sure you are doing all the changes in one go. So it will allow only one change in 6 hours. It's okay. So first thing is modify the volume from the console. So right now if you see, I have modified it to 10 GB. So let's refresh this page. So in few seconds it should show 10 GB. Yeah, now you can see the 8 GB became 10 GB. Okay, so you'll have to refresh it few times to get this reflected. Now let's log into the footy. Okay, so let's get the IP address of this machine. So this is the address, and let's log in here. Okay, so accept. So I'm just changing the settings to make this appear better. Okay, so now let's go as root, sudo su space hyphen. So now we are root. Now let's check the disks and the partition. lsblk, the command I am trying to issue is lsblk, list all the block devices. Now you see there is a block device xpda, okay, and in this device there is a partition, okay, which has 8 GB storage, right? So what you see is this disk size is 10 GB, but our partition is 8 GB. Okay, so there are 3 steps in this activity for extending the EBS volume. First one is we have to resize the volume from the AWS console, that we have already done. Okay, second thing is we have to extend the partition, that we are going to do, and the third step is we have to extend the file system. So it has we have 3 steps. So right now we are with the extending partition part. So there are different approaches depending upon the type of the system. Okay, so AWS instances, there are various types. Okay, so if it is Nitro based, then there is a different set of procedure. If it is Zen based, there is a different procedure. Okay, it's basically the virtualization technique. Okay, so what we can do is, let's go to the AWS documentation. So if you basically open this documentation, they provide the different steps. Okay, so Zen based, there is a set of steps, and for Nitro based there is a set. The command is basically different. Okay, the easiest way to identify whether your instance is Zen or Nitro based is basically if you do lsblk, if the disk is coming with xvda, xvda1, all those, then it is Zen based. Okay, if it is coming with basically something with NV, okay, so NV means basically something like NVE, NVMe1 N1, so something like this. If it is showing in this way, so that means it is Nitro based. Okay, so in our case, if you see, it is a Zen based instance. And other way to figure out is, basically there are a couple of instance type that are Nitro based. So in AWS documentation, if you see, there are a couple of instances that are of Nitro based. So all those type of instances are described here. You can go through this list and figure out. But based on my experience, simple thing is, if it is starting with XVDA or XP, so it is Zen, and if it is starting with NV, so then that is Nitro based. So let's follow the steps for Zen based. So first thing is, you have to extend the partition. Okay, so if you see this XVDA disk, this is the first disk and this is the first partition. Okay, so we need to extend the partition, right? So the command for extending the Zen based one is, partition of a Zen based machine is using grow part. Okay, we need to execute grow part and the partition. Okay, so we need to make sure the partition is correct. Okay, XVDA, so in the disk XVDA first partition we need to grow, right? Execute this. So now you see, changed partition 1 start, basically it modified, it extended the partition. Okay, so now let's issue the command lsblk again. Now if you see, the partition disk size is 10 GB, partition size is also 10 GB. So step number 2 complete. Okay, so basically there are 3 steps, right? So one is let's write it here, 12. Okay, so resize from console, resize partition, extend partition, then third step is extend file system. 3 steps, right? So this is completed. Okay, and the second one, this is also complete, right? Now we have to do the third one, file system part. So for checking the file system, let's check df-h. Okay, so if you see here, this is the root volume, right? So dev/xpda1. Here if you see, the size will show as the old value because this is not extended. We have modified the partition, but the disk file system, if you see, the file system, if you see, it is still with the same value, 8 GB. So now the next step is to extend this one. The command is df-h, that will show the file system details, okay, in a human readable format. So for Zen based system, what we need is, we need to basically issue the command xfs grow fs-d / what we are doing is, we are growing the file system for slash. Okay, the file system / we are basically the file system that is mounted on /, right, that we are extending. So let's issue this. So now if you see, after this, let's issue the command again. Okay, now you see it is 10 GB. Okay, so if you see this file system, now it got extended, it is 10 GB right now. Okay, so one more thing is, this happened very quickly in our case because this is a freshly launched instance, and our instance, the disk size is like only a small size and there is no data in the disk. But the first step means basically the modifying the disk part, right? So that may take a longer time in case of large instances with large disk and large data, and even the other steps also may take more time depending upon the size of the disk and the volume of the data present in the disk. Okay, so this is a very cool feature. This saves a lot of money because we don't have to provision a disk with larger volume, larger size upfront, we can modify it based on our need, and it won't take much time. You will see, like, I mean, in few minutes we can modify the volume to the right size. Okay, I hope this is clear. So right now, if you see, we can, our disk is extended from 8 GB to 10 GB. I hope this explanation is clear. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below this video. I'll definitely help you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you very much.